Hari Hari. How was the breakfast? Only good?
Wonderful.
It was delicious.
Yes.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya की जय, श्री राधा कृष्ण कन्हैया की जय, श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. Welcome everyone to a seminar entitled, what's the title? Return from the pasturing grounds. Who could be returning from the pasturing grounds?
Krishna.
Krishna. And who else?
Gopas.
Balaram. And who else?
Gopas.
All the Gopas. And who else? All the cows. So I've chosen to speak on this passage on the occasion of this retreat, which is also combined with the celebration of Sri Radhashtami. The pastimes of Krishna and Balaram and their beautiful form, as we heard the cows in the holy land of Vrindavan, are the meditation of the gopis. And as Krishna and Balaram leave Nandagaon in the morning, the gopis are very much distressed because for the whole day Krishna will be away. And the cowherd boys are very much enlivened because for the whole day they will be with Krishna. The cows are happy, the cowherd boys are happy, the gopis are distressed, Yashoda Mai is distressed, even the elderly gopas are distressed. We are going to hear these pastimes based on the 10th canto, chapter 15 of Srimad Bhagavatam. This chapter 15 is very interesting, and it begins with Krishna becoming 6 years old. This is the beginning of chapter 15. Krishna becomes 6 years old. And according to the divisions of the ages, when Krishna is small, he was called Kumar. He's a small boy, to the age of 5. But everybody knows, mothers know, after the age of 5, the boys, they start growing a certain type of personality. This is called the Pauganda age, the age of Pauganda, which goes from age 6 to 10, just before becoming a full-fledged teenager. So Krishna attains the age of 6. And as he attains the age of 6, there are changes, transformation in his beautiful body. He becomes taller, his chest becomes broader, his waist becomes a little thin, his feet become longer. When Krishna was very, very small, it is said that he had these little baby feet, and when he walked on the ground, you couldn't see, you saw the imprints of his feet, but you couldn't see any signs, distinct signs. But we know Krishna has signs on his feet. Only at the age of Pauganda, the signs became all visible, because his feet grew a little longer. They expanded in size, and all the different marks, such as the conch shell, they all became visible. And Krishna made a petition to his father and his mother and the cowherd boys, the elders of the cowherd community. I am big now, Krishna says. I want to herd the cows. I want to become a Gopa. What was Krishna doing before that? He was Gopal. He was herding the calves, the small calves. We all know the pastime of Krishna holding up to the tails of the calves and being dragged in the dirt, in the cow dung and dust of brats in the courtyard. So playing with the calves, herding the calves, that meant just staying around the village, not going very far. It meant playing within the village boundaries and going a little further here and there, but not very far. So Krishna at the age of 6 made a petition to his father. Now I am big. I want to herd the cows. Why did he want to herd the cows? Number one, Krishna was very anxious to go out in the forest. He had witnessed every day the cowherd boys are leaving the village. The elderly boys and the cowherd, they are leaving the village, and he was watching. Where are they going? They are going into the deep, dense forest. And they return in the evening. We can hear the mooing of the cows as they return in the evening. Krishna became very eager to go and see the forest of Vrindavan. Krishna was also very much in tune with all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, which included the cows, included the forest animals. And he knew that all the cows were actually increasingly distressed. They wanted Krishna's association all day. And it had become difficult, actually, for the cowherds to get the cows to go in the morning. They would push the cows out and they would just look back. Krishna's not coming. So Krishna knew the desire of the cows. That they want him to come with them. They want to have loving exchanges with him all day in the forest. He also knew of the forest animals. The forest animals, they could not come in the village, but they had heard from the birds who can fly over the villages. They had heard that in that village there is a very special boy, and they wanted to see him. They would come at the edge of the forest and elongate, make a tall neck and try to see where is he. So they were all waiting for him. And the other thing is also that Krishna had enough of the supervision of Yashoda and all the big gopis, When the children are small, they have to be supervised because they always get in trouble, right? They fall into a ditch, they eat some dirt, they do something. So the mother always has to be around. So the big gopis, they were taking care of the small children. But by the age of 6, Krishna had enough. I want to do what I want. As soon as he would start climbing on a tree, Yashoda Mai would run and say, "Come down! You will fall." So she was overly protective. She wouldn't let him climb on trees. She wouldn't let him go far away. She wouldn't let him jump in the river. She wouldn't let him do the fun things, The things that you really want to do that are very exciting. So he had enough of that. His personality was growing according to Leela. We know that in the spiritual world, Krishna actually doesn't have a form as a baby or a child in the spiritual world. He is eternally 16 years old. Navayovana. But for the pleasure of his devotees, when he comes and descends in this world, he displays changes in his transcendental body. And this is only to give an impetus for his devotees' love. Because some devotees are in the Vatsalya mood. This Vatsalya mood is specifically excited or enhanced when the child is small. Because Vatsalya indicates we have to protect. We feel superior to the person. We have to protect. It's a kind of love in which the devotee feels himself superior to the Supreme Lord. This knowledge is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. But when Krishna grows, then he begins evolving different relationships, friendships, and this will be very much the topic of this chapter, the friendship that Krishna evolves with his equals, the cowherd boys. And then as he grows a little older, and this begins from the age of 6, as he goes in the forest, 6, 7, we know when he was at 7 years old under the Giriraj, he was looking at the gopis. So in this chapter also, as Krishna herds the cows, even though he's quite small, but he manages running away from the boys' group during the day and escaping into the forests and going to Mansi Ganga and meeting the gopis. He meets the gopis, spends a few hours with them, they dance, They have water sports in the Manasi Ganga. They play instruments. They make big dancing party. And different kind of activities. So Krishna spends his day like this. So he wanted to go to the forest. So there was a big discussion in the beginning of the chapter. As soon as Nanda Maharaj heard that Krishna wanted to become a Gopa, he said, no, no way. Bacha, you're too small. Balaka, you're too small. You'll hurt yourself. Forget, not time, later. But Krishna was very insisting. He appealed to the uncles. Upananda, the bigger brother of Nanda Maharaj, uncle, I want to go, I want to become a Gopa, I want to herd the cows. Finally they had a big meeting. And they debated back and forth, and finally they agreed, let him go. We cannot stop him. He has become a full-fledged member of the cowherd community. When the news came to Yashoda Mai, she was fainting. Very upset with her husband Nanda Maharaj. Why did you agree to such a thing? So again, they had to debate together. And finally, both Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj agreed. For the good of their child, they understood. We cannot keep him at home always. He has to grow. So Krishna left, went into the forest. The gopis wanted to follow. And they said, no girls allowed. They sent back the small gopis. Yashoda Mai was sending a tiffin every 1 hour. She had messengers going back and forth with the news. What is he doing? What is he doing? This is the meditation of the gopis, staying back in the village. Every 1 hour, a messenger is coming back and he's telling everything. He climbed on the tree. Yashoda Mai just said, I knew he was going to do that. He jumped in the water. Oh, and then I left and I came here. I don't know. So the whole day, the messengers would come and bring the news of Krishna's pastime. And the whole day, Yashoda Mai was preparing more and more tiffins and sending them out. In this chapter, there is also, because what happened is that when Krishna started going to the forest, his pastimes of killing demons became enhanced. Already while he was in the village, he had killed many demons, Agasur, Bakasur, Trinavarta, and this Putana from the time he was very small. But as soon as he went to the forest, many more demons. At least one per day, it is said. At least one per day he would kill. Only a few are recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam. So when he was at that age, that is when he and Balaram had an encounter with Dhenukasura. This is part of this chapter. Dhenukasura, the ass demon. The ass demon. And many friends of his were controlling a forest named Talvan, which had many big tall trees which bear some very nice kind of fruit. This was a pastime which happened in the summer, Grishma, the hot season in Vrindavan. And those fruit, they grow and are full of water. Some kind of jelly type of white jelly thing, full of water. But nobody could have access to this fruit. So Dhenuka was guarding. So there was a big fight. And all the demon asses were killed. And then the cowherd boys, they took rest, they ate, and then they played again, and the afternoon came. So the pastime that we are going to hear in these next days is after the killing of Dhenukasura. After the killing of Dhenukasura, after the boys ate, drank, and played a little bit more, after some time, they noticed the arrival of the afternoon. They didn't have a clock on their wrists. They didn't have a mobile. Hmm? How did they know the time? Do you know how people used to know the time before? By what?
Sun.
By the sun. Yes. They would look at the sun, and they were very expert. Nowadays you look at the sun and say, but at that time they knew that according to the season, if the sun is right at the top, it's midday. At another season, the sun is rising on the horizon, but still when he's in the middle, that's midday. And then it starts going down. And it was the hot season. So they started feeling the heat was decreasing. It became kind of pleasant. The heat was decreasing. The scorching rays of the sun were diminishing. And they saw the sun has adopted its course downwards towards the western horizon. So they understood, Krishna, Krishna, the afternoon has come. It is time to return to the village. It is said here the village of Vraja, which indicates Nandagaon. For some who have gone to Vrindavan, Nandagaon, the village of Nanda Maharaj. So they collected their cows. We are going to hear about that. These cowherd pastimes, they are actually a background for Krishna to play in the forest. They take the cows out, but that's not the main thing they do, herding the cows. They herd the cows on the side. The main meal is playing, visiting the forest, finding the caves, exploring the caves, playing in the water, making games, imitating the animals. This is what they do all day. They just play. And after some time, that's why they go like, where are the cows? Cows are all gone. Because the cows, they eat grass. And when they eat the grass, they put their head down and they just follow the grass. They follow the grass and they keep walking, walking, and they follow the grass and they keep eating grass, eating grass, eating grass. After some time, cowherd boys are playing and suddenly there are no more cows. They're gone. So then next pastime, looking for the cows. Where are the cows gone? So these were the pastimes of Krishna in the forest. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that in this chapter here, verses 41 to 43, they describe Krishna's return home to Vraja. In 3 verses, this return is described. We are going to read the first verse. I think you have been given some text here. These are the beautiful descriptions of Srila Shukadeva Goswami. The Srimad Bhagavatam is called Amal Puranam. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the Vaishnavas. Why? Because it is a faultless scripture which does not describe anything of this mundane world. And especially the descriptions of the 10th canto. These descriptions are strictly about Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also known as Adhokshaja, the one who lies beyond the mind and beyond the senses, the transcendental personality who is at the source of our existence. Srimad Bhagavatam describes his activities on the transcendental platform, which are free from the 3 modes of material nature. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very dear to the devotees. What are actually the descriptions of Canto 10? They are the descriptions of the relationships between Krishna and his devotees. In 5 different flavors, and especially in 3 different flavors. There is servitorship, of course, but especially friendship, motherly or fatherly, parental affection, and conjugal love. And how Krishna interacts with different kinds of devotees is the description of the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. By hearing these descriptions, we develop an affinity for hearing of his pastimes more and more. Our heart becomes purified from all the mundane attractions. We become eager to develop a relationship with him. We want to hear of him again and again. The Srimad Bhagavatam itself sings of its own glories, saying that for one who hears the pastimes of Krishna, or who meditates upon them within his heart, he will become completely liberated from material entanglement. So here is the description of Srila Shuka Goswami. Krishna Kamala Patraksha Punya Shravana Kirtana Suyamano Nugargope Sagrajo Vrajamavrajat. Then, Lord aside Lord Sri Krishna, whose glories are most pious to hear and chant, returned home to Vraja with his elder brother Balaram. Along the way, the cowherd boys, his faithful followers, chanted his glories. So this is the verse that we are going to speak about today. Srila Shukadeva Goswami says this much, but the acharyas who have spoken about these verses speak much more and are going to enlighten us about all the details of Krishna's return. So, first of all, it says here that he returned home. And we understood return home means that actually he has to collect the cows. He doesn't return home on his own. It's a great responsibility. He has left with a specific number of cows, and he has to return with the same number of cows. So he's going to call them. So the first thing they do after noticing the arrival of the afternoon, there is a long way to go. The cowherd boys used to go far away from Nandagram. It is said actually that the land of Vrindavan, which is never to be considered material, especially when Krishna enacts his manifested pastimes, the land of Vrindavan has descended. It's an avatar of Golokdhan. It is called Bhumi, we say, Bhauma Vrindavan. The Vrindavan on this earth. It is said to be like a big lotus. It is a lotus on which different forests are sitting on different petals. And when Krishna wants to go to a particular forest, that petal kind of comes closer to the world of the lotus, so that Krishna can quickly reach. And then it extends, and Krishna finds himself very far away from Nandagaon. And when he wants to return in the evening, the same thing happens. The petals become closer, and quickly the boys return from sometimes 30, 50 kilometers away. All around the Vraja Mandala, they used to herd the cows. So it's time to return. The sun is descending on the western horizon. It is said that at that time when the sun descends, in Vrindavan there are many lotus flowers blooming everywhere. They bloom in the Yamuna and the other streams that are found all over Brajamandala. They bloom in the sarovaras, in the kunds, in the ponds, sometimes in a little bit of water in the middle of a field. The lotuses are blooming. And as the sun comes down, the aroma of the lotuses becomes more spread. It spreads everywhere. And the bees become mad. everybody in the middle of the day becomes a little subdued because it's so hot. But in the afternoon, all the bees start humming around and again searching for honey. And also the earth, because the sun has come down, the earth, which in the middle of the day burns the feet, now becomes very soft and pleasant. So Krishna is the leader of the cowherd boys. So he begins speaking to them. Time to stop playing. The boys are playing all over the place. It's time to stop playing. The sun is coming down. Let us return to Vraja. Come on, Gopa, Gopa, call the cows. How many cows? 9 lakhs cows. That's only Nanda's cows. Then there are more cows. And we'll hear today, there are buffaloes also. They were herding the cows. Some were herding the cows. Some were herding the buffaloes. Sometimes we hear in Brajamandala there were also some herding the goats. But here, mostly the cows and the buffaloes, they were herding kind of in the same area. So it tells them, you call back the cows. How do we call back the cows? Please play on your bugles. They are playing on the bugles. They have cow horns or buffalo horns. They have beautiful buffalo horns decorated with jewels, with a string, so that they can carry it around their neck or stick it in their belts. So they are playing the bugle and playing on their flute. Did Krishna only play the flute? No. All the cowherd boys are playing flutes. Many of them, they have flutes stuck in their belts. So they begin playing their flutes, they begin blowing the bugles and calling the cows. The main thing to notice is that amongst the cowherd boys, there is love. They are very affectionate to each other. The bigger ones take care of the smaller ones. They fight sometimes, but they always, patch up. They always patch up. They protect each other. So they are playing all kinds of instruments, including sometimes they take a piece of grass and they put it in their mouth and they make some sound, playing with the grass. They have all kinds of instruments which they make in the forest. Even instruments they make with the bamboos. So they start playing and calling the cows, and they make a sound which indicates, which the cows are going to understand. This is the language of the cowherd boys. This is the call for the cows. And all the cows that have been grazing in the pasturing ground, they raise their ears. And they cock their ears in the direction of the sound, and very distressed at the idea of giving up the sweet grasses, they slowly start turning around and coming in the direction where the cowherd boys are calling them. And they are calling them by their names also. Shavali, Pishangi. So many names are there. Usually the names of the cows refer to their different colors, to the shape of their horns, the shape of their feet, and the shape of their tails. Sometimes their character. Kali! That's the black one. Neela! These are the yellow ones, yeah. Harini! The one that looks like a deer. Vilohini! Dhumala! Shushila! Very sweet one. Come here. We are going home. Do not wander in the forest anymore. So the cows begin to come back. And in the meantime, Krishna, sometimes playing on his flute, he sees all the cowherd boys are calling back the cows. He himself is calling back the cows. And he's standing in the middle. He's wearing his beautiful yellow dhoti. He starts twirling his dhoti and looking at the trees. He's looking at the trees. He's admiring the Vrindavan forest. So beautiful. It is said that the trees of Vrindavan are not ordinary trees. They are all great sages who have taken birth in the land of Vrindavan to participate in Shantaras, in the pastimes of Krishna. They provide the setting, the trees, the vines or the latas that grow around the trees, all the plants. They are creating the most beautiful atmosphere of Vrindavan. So Krishna is looking at the trees, admiring the trees, while all this return of the cows, gathering of the cows is going on. So the cows gradually come back. They were grazing very peacefully, completely unafraid. They feel totally protected by Krishna and by his friends. So the cowboys are calling, and most of the cows, they start moving back. But there are some cows, they don't move. Only they move when Krishna himself goes down. When he starts calling them by their name, then only. First thing is they become stunned. Something in their heart is moving. They have heard Krishna is calling me. Now I will return. We all like little personal attention. Huh? Srila Rupa Goswami has described the beautiful return of Krishna from the pasturing ground in a beautiful composition entitled Sri Keshava Ashtaka. Nava Priya Kamanjari Rachita Karna Pura Shriyam Vidra Malati Kalita Shekare Nokshalam Dharmo Trasita Yutika Gatita Valuve Kakshakam Raje Vijayanam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam. Please repeat. Raje Vijayanam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam. I worship Lord Keshava, coming back from the forest of Vraja. He wears priyaka flower earrings, a crown of fully blossomed malati flowers, and a brahmana thread of small charming jasmine flowers. Wow. So this is a description of Krishna right now. He has been in the forest all day. So the coward with flower earrings, different kinds. Sometimes Krishna wears the kadamba flowers, which are like a big ball. Here he is wearing priyaka flowers, another type of small flower. He puts him on his ears. And then on his head, no more the turban, the crown that Yashoda Mai put. No, now he is wearing a crown of malati flowers. You know the malati flowers? Very fragrant, pinkish, beautiful flowers. So somebody made, the coward boys made a beautiful crown made of malati flowers. And then, actually, Krishna doesn't have a Brahmin thread because it's too small. He will get his Brahmin thread afterwards when he goes to Ujjain, Avanti. That time when he is in the Gurukul, he will get his Brahmin thread. But now, he is wearing a Brahmin thread made of jasmine flowers. So this is beautiful Krishna. And just hearing, now he's calling his cows. The ones that are not coming, you remember? Some are coming. They come as soon as they hear jee, jee. And some of them, they are not coming. They are waiting for this Shangi Manikastani Pranata Shingi Pingekshane Nidanga Dhumale Shavadhamsi Vamsi Iti Sasurabhi Kulantaralama Vayantam Muda Raje Vijayanam Raje Vinadeshata Keshavam Raje Vijayanam Raje Vinadeshata Keshavam. I worship Lord Keshava. Why Keshava? Kesha means hair. And Keshava refers to Lord Krishna, specifically when he returns from the pasturing ground. And we will hear very soon that as the cows get moving, they raise the dust of Vraja in the air, which falls on his hair, and his hair becomes whitish. That is Keshava. The one whose hair has become whitish. In fact, not just his hair, even his face, his complexion, his bluish dark shyam complexion has become whitish. I worship Lord Keshava. Coming back from the forest of Vraja, he happily calls his trained Surabhi cows, Pishangi, Marikastani, Pranata Shringi, Pingekshara, Mridanga Dhumala, Shavai, Hamsi, Mamsi, Priya, Priya. Krishna is calling his cows. Pranata Shringi means the one whose horns are turned down, like offering obeisances. Horns are down. Mridanga Mukhi, one whose face looks like a mridanga. One who has lotus eyes. One who is the color of smoke. One who looks like a swan. So they all have very beautiful names. And actually, it is said, some of them are particular names of particular cows, and some are actually groups of cows. Like there's a whole kind of breed of cows that all have their horns down. So he calls them. And the cows, upon hearing him, they become stunned. And they turn around and they start moving back to him. But they've been eating all day grass, lots of grass. So because of that, and also as they eat grass, what happens when the cows eat grass? Where does the grass go? In the stomach. Yes, it goes in the stomach. Yes. And then it becomes cow dung, she says. That's one of the products of the cow, is cow dung. What else is the product of the cow? Milk. As they graze in the field, they produce milk. And by the afternoon time, their udders are full. It is said they look like water pots. Their udders are round and hard, and they are full of milk. What will happen when they go back to Nandagram? They will feed their cows. So they have produced all this milk all day while grazing in the pasturing grounds. So because their udders are very weighty, they are very heavy and big, their back legs cannot walk properly. So they are walking in a bit of a crooked way, and they are trying to go fast because they have heard Krishna. He just called them. So out of ecstasy, they want to go fast, fast, fast where he is. But because their udders are very big, they cannot go fast. So they are trying, and their legs are running in different ways so that they can get closer to Krishna. They want to come close. when they come close, what is the ecstasy? Ah, he smells very good. And Krishna's body is so fragrant. And the cows are very much acquainted with the fragrance of Krishna's body. So they come closer. They want to smell the fragrance of his transcendental body with their nose. They want to lick his sweetness. The cows lick Krishna. You know, cows' tongue is little rough. But they come close to Krishna and they lick, because licking for animals, including the cows, it is a way to show affection. You see, humans don't do that much, but all animals do. You see the cat with the small cattle kittens? They have small tongue, very fast moving. And then the dogs, they are also licking the small dogs. And the cows, they always lick the calves. So they come close to Krishna and they try to come close to him and lick his beautiful body out of affection. They are full of love. What kind of love the cows have for Krishna? Vatsalya Prem. It's affection. He's like one of their calves. They love him like that. In fact, there is a pastime, little later on in the Bhagavatam, when Lord Brahma steals all the calves and cowherd boys, Krishna expands and becomes all the calves of all the cows. And he becomes all the cowherd boys of all the gopis of Vrindavan. And at that time, they get the chance to directly, each and every cow, each and every gopi gets the chance to have Krishna as their little, their small, and take care of him. And they all become mad in love for Krishna. So the cows, there are thousands of them. How will they all get close to Krishna? Mystery. But, as you know, Krishna's pastimes are very magic. And Krishna does in such a way that each and every cow feels that she has reached just next to Krishna. Each and every cow feels that Krishna is patting her on the head, patting her on the back. So they get this experience. Every cow believes that he's scratching her head and is caressing her back. Only me, she thinks, not others. These pastimes which really we hear in the context of the rasa dance. The Krishna expands in the rasa dance. But there are several other times when Krishna also expands. One time he expands in the forest when he plays with the cowherd boys. When Krishna wants to rest under a tree, he expands in many forms and rests under many trees. And so that all the cowherd boys get to massage his feet, bring him water, chant for him, play for him. So similarly, with the cows, when all the cows are eager to associate with him, Krishna also acts in such a way that he is simultaneously with each and every cow, scratching them, patting them, embracing them, fixing their necklaces, taking out some grass which got stuck in their necklaces. So very beautiful. And as they come back, they are all they are mooing in great joy. Then Krishna gives the order. He raises his hand and he makes a sign. We are moving. First we gather all the cows and then yee! We are moving. And the cows, in spite of their big fat udders, they start moving. Moving on the path back to Nandagram. Again, Krishna has to go in the front. Because if he is in the back, they don't want to move. So Krishna has to go in the front. And sometimes they are too much engrossed in licking him and being with him, they don't want to move. So the gopas, the small boys, they come and they separate the cows from Krishna with great difficulty. And they send them with their sticks, they send them in the direction of Vraja. And the whole procession starts moving. There is lots of sound. They are beating the ground with their heavy hooves, and they have bells around their necks. So the bells are ringing, and they are moving, and also there is the playing of the flutes. Krishna is playing his flute to encourage them to walk, and the cowherd boys are playing their horns, their bugles. So it says here that it creates a heavenly symphony of sound. It's a big procession with music, with mooing, with the bells ringing, very beautiful. And the thundering sound of the hooves on the ground, and the dust is being raised. Imagine 9 lakh cows raising the dust of Vrindavan high, high, high in the sky. So on the way, the gopas walk along with Krishna. It says here in this verse, Anuger Goper, that Krishna is walking back along with the cowherd boys. They are walking, and the cows fix their eyes in the direction of Nandagaon. Once they become determined to go, then they fix their eyes there. They're going to be determined because there is a long way to go. And Krishna and the cowherd boys are walking in the middle. And there is a description that there were also buffaloes. And there were many buffaloes. Different families were herding different kinds of animals. So it was looking like Ganga Yamuna. It was looking like Ganga. Ganga is a white Ganga, Shweta Ganga. There was a stream of cows on one side of Krishna, and there was a stream of black buffaloes, like Yamuna, dark colored. A stream of buffaloes on the other side. And these 2 lines of animals were looking like a stream of water. And in the middle played 2 elephants. Who are the elephants playing in the midst of Ganga and Yamuna? That is Krishna and Balaram. Krishna looked like a blue elephant, baby elephant. And Balaram looked like a white elephant, playing in the midst of the waters of the cows and the buffaloes. So they are moving quite slowly, because there are many of them, and they are full, they are tired also. They spend the whole day in the forest. The earth, it is described, Mother Earth is feeling so much bliss, so much ecstasy. Krishna is walking on her. And it is said actually that even the gopis, they praise the earth. Krishna himself, he praises the earth, because whereas all other living entities get to associate with him only at certain times, either in the night or in the evening or in the morning or in the day, the earth associates with him 24 hours a day. He walks on her with his lotus feet, or he lies on her, on his back. So the earth is considered to be most fortunate. And as the cows are going, even though we said that they are completely full, still they get attracted to the grass. And they get distracted, and they start going left, right to catch the green grass on the way. And the cowherd boys have to expertly keep them going straight, go, forward, forward. No stopping, no more eating grass. But it is difficult. There is a beautiful verse in the Vraja Vilas Stava. Yasampalana dohanotsavarata sardham yasotkare kamam rama virajita pratidinam tatpadarenu jala pritya spritavanoru parvatanadi tatcheshu bhadraspriho goshta khandala nandano viharate tasorabhegir bhaje. I worship these cows, the daughters of Surabhi, who daily immerse Krishna, Balaram, Sridham and the other Sakhas in festivals headed by herding them and milking them, and who are wonderfully decorated with the dust raised by their own hooves as they lovingly roam around the dense forest, high mountains and riverbanks. So, this is a offering respect to the cows who are Surabhi, the Surabhi cows, givers of unlimited amounts of milk, which is just like nectar. These cows are very beautiful. It is said that their hooves are entwined with blue sapphire. Like we wear rings. So the hooves of the cows, remember, Krishna descends from the spiritual world and he manifests his opulence. The spiritual world is not full of skyscrapers. It is full of abundance of high trees. And under the roots of the trees are found the jewels. So these cows, they have blue sapphires which are entwined in their hooves. Their horns are gold-studded. They put sometimes at the end of the horn, they put some golden thing there, or they have gold, like golden rings around their horns, very beautiful. And they are so beautiful. They have a luster in their body. They shine very beautifully. Another description here from the Keshavastaka. We said that the dust which rises from the hooves of the cows, it falls on Krishna's hair. And it says here, it turns Gopal's restless locks gray. Krishna has very dark colored hair. But when the dust falls on the hair, it becomes gray. He has locks of hair, very restless locks. They are moving all about because Krishna is never immobile. He's jumping, running, dancing, and his hair is jumping the whole day. But still, the dust manages to stick on his hair. And this is very amazing, they say, because everybody is aspiring for the dust of the lotus feet of Krishna. But Krishna takes the dust of the cows of Vrindavan and keeps it on his own head. Therefore, the cows are worshipable. So here, this is the 6th verse of the Keshavastaka. Padam kratati-bhir-varam virachayam tamadvashriyam chalan paralale chiki-vichayadhuri-gunrasrajam marul lahari-chanchali-kritadukul-lakshudam-chalam Vraje vijayanam bhaje vipinadeshata keshavam Vraje vijayanam bhaje vipinadeshata keshavam. I worship Lord Keshava coming back from the forest of Vraja. He beautifies the path with his footprints. He wears a garland of dust raised by the wandering cows, and his garments and peacock feather move with the waves of the wind. So Srimad Bhagavatam is meant to create an image of Krishna within our mind. We are seeing Krishna. He's coming back from the forest. His hair are curly and floating in the wind as he jumps and runs, covered with the dust of Vraj, looking a little grayish. He's playing on his flute. He's wearing a jasmine flower, little thread that we wear like a Brahmin thread. He's wearing these beautiful flowers on his head. He's wearing flowers on his ears. And here it says, as he walks, he leaves behind beautiful footprints. And the dust, it says he wears it like a garland. He wears a garland of dust. The dust obviously also falls. Krishna always wears garlands, so the dust also falls on his garland. And it is said his garments and peacock feather move in the wind as he progresses along the path. So this is our meditation. Beautiful Krishna. Krishna Kamalapatraksha. So this is a description of Shukadeva Goswami. Krishna Kamala Patraksha, which means that his eyes are as large as lotus petals. Krishna's eyes are very large and they extend almost up to the ears. Oh, wow! Huh? Although we say that Krishna has a Manushya Rupa, it's a form similar to that of a human being, but there are certain aspects of his body, including the color, which denote his divinity. And this is one of the aspects of the spiritual body, that the eyes are very large, very beautiful, long, elongated eyes. And they are always compared to the lotus petal, whereas our eyes are called marakata, monkey eyes. In order to make them beautiful, we have to put some eyelashes, artificial eyelashes, because there are no eyelashes. So we are like sticking some eyelashes, and then we are putting some dark lines. Krishna doesn't need, Radharani doesn't need these dark lines. They are naturally there. Very beautifully, very colorful eyes, very beautiful eyes. So Krishna has Kamala Patraksha. He has eyes which are like a lotus petal. A little description of Krishna here. He has also ankle bells. And as he walks, the ankle bells are chim, 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 making some noise, chim, 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 very sweetly. He walks very gracefully. And as he walks with his lotus feet on the earth becomes completely purified. It is said that he walks like a little elephant. As the elephant, as he walks, if you see, you should see small elephants. It's like stumbling everywhere. It's kind of stumbling everywhere. So that's the way Krishna walks. Okay. And he's guiding the cows. Then Goswami states, Tuyamano Nuga Gope. He was surrounded by the cowherd boys. It is said, there was no road that was not decorated with cowherd boys. There were cowherd boys everywhere. So many of them. And there was no cowherd boy who did not engage in play. So as they move the cows along, still they are teasing each other, jumping on the side, climbing on the tree. You know, so much energy they have. And there was no play without humor. So they were always laughing. And there was no humor that did not give joy to Krishna. So whatever they did, even when they played, it was always with the idea of entertaining Krishna. This is the characteristic of the residents of Vraja. That they are not just having a merry time. They are not just enjoying selfishly. No. Krishna is always the focus of their attention. And whatever they do is to enhance his happiness. And Krishna very happily sometimes enters the game and plays with them. At other times he stays on the side and he watches them and he becomes very, very happy. Prabhupada always speaks like when we go to Vrindavan now, in the temple of Krishna Balaram, we see Krishna Balaram. Balaram is actually, he puts his hand on the shoulder of Krishna. What they are doing at that time, they are watching the cowherd boys playing. This is what they are doing. They are on the side and they just hang on each other and they are watching the cowherd boys as they play. And they take very great pleasure. So the boys sang, they smiled, they played, they danced, they were playing hide and seek, but the idea was always that they wanted to give pleasure to Krishna. So what time are you going? 11:15. Oh, okay. So, this kind of talks about Krishna, it is said in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that these talks have been conveyed from spiritual master to disciple since time immemorial. And as far as the pastimes of Krishna, he appeared 5,000 years ago, and from that time, devotees have been repeating these pastimes. And such glorifications of the pastimes of Krishna are relished by those who are no longer interested in false, temporary glorification of this material cosmic manifestation. Those who are still interested in the material world cannot enjoy Krishna's pastime. They find it boring, they have doubts. Is it imagination? Is it exaggeration? But no, it is not. This is the repetition of the narrations which have been passed down from guru to disciple and which will continue to be passed down. And they are relished by the Paramahamsas, those who are either liberated or those who are not liberated but are aspiring for entering in Krishna's, under Krishna's protection, being part of his entourage. This is the goal that Srila Prabhupada has given us. What is the goal of the practice of Krishna consciousness? Is to reawaken our relationship with Krishna. Are we a cowherd boy? Are we a cowherd girl? Are we a peacock? Or a tree in the land of Vraja? We have an identity eternally, which we have forgotten. And by hearing the pastimes of Krishna, gradually this identity becomes revealed. Our attraction for this pure type of natural life of Golok Dham is awakened. We become attracted. The Bhagavatam says that these descriptions of the Lord are the right medicine for the conditioned soul undergoing repeated birth and death. So who will cease hearing such glorifications of the Lord except a butcher or one who is killing his own self? Those who are not attracted to the narrations about Krishna, and they are, it is said here, like butchers. Butchers means atmaha, those who kill. They are killing the soul. And not necessarily killing animals, but they are killing their own soul because they are not awakening their Krishna consciousness. It is the prerogative of human beings to awaken their Krishna consciousness. Animals cannot do that. Animals cannot awaken to Krishna consciousness. They have no power. Their intelligence it functions, it is there. They are intelligent, but not to philosophize. They are not intelligent to understand the sublime. They are intelligent only regarding where to find food, where to find a place to sleep, where to find a life companion, and how to defend. In these four activities, animals are very smart, sometimes smarter than us. They can see better, hear better, run faster. They can do so many things. They are very intelligent, but not spiritually. They are only materially intelligent. Only the human beings have this power to actually perceive divinity, to perceive the great, to perceive the sublime. Anyone who takes a human body has the capacity to remember the original identity which is ours. So we are very fortunate to be hearing the pastimes of Krishna. But of course you will say, boo, I don't have any attraction for it, right? Sometimes we feel, oh, tired, class finished now. I want to go stretch my legs, eat something, do something else. So we will recite a little verse here which describes our poor condition of lack of attraction for the beautiful narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam. Apispara madhe pratipada sudha koti madhure Purana gramanta vahati tavailar sajhare Mano vatsa patum vishaya vishagarte vishatime Kripayashtyaturna Damayatamamumtarnakapate. In this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami describes that the narration of Krishna's transcendental pastimes, they are like a stream of nectar, like a flowing river of nectar. And just as the river flows through the land, Krishna, the river of Krishna's pastime, flows through the Puranas, Bhagavad Purana. All the Puranas, they tell of Krishna's pastimes. So the Puranas are like a land, and through that land is flowing the beautiful stream of Krishna's pastimes. And what happens? Now he's comparing his mind to a calf. He said, my mind is like a calf, but a foolish calf, very foolish calf. When the cows see the river, and also the cow herds, they bring the cows to the river to drink. So all the cows that are very submissive and listen to the cow herds, they go to the river, they are very thirsty, they quench their thirst and they are fully satisfied. They get their life energy again. But then there is that foolish calf. Instead of following all the cows to drink in the river, he starts looking for water in the field. And he starts going, and he gets lost. And at some point, he gets into an area where he doesn't see, but there is actually a well. So he arrives close, there is lots of grass, and he arrives at some point, he sees all the grass, and inside the grass he sees water. Water, he's so thirsty. He's been wandering alone, away from the herd. He's so thirsty. He wants to try to drink the grass and falls into the well. He tries to drink the water, but it is down. So as he tries to extend his neck to drink the water, he falls into the well. And as he arrives at the bottom, he drinks a little water. Little. And very little water, not enough to quench his thirst, and then he can't come out anymore. And he's crying inside the well. He's crying inside the well. So Rupa Goswami says, this is my mind. All the great acharyas have told us, fix your mind on the pastimes of Krishna. Listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. Listen to the beautiful story of Krishna wandering in the pasturing ground in Vrindavan. Derive your water-giving life. This pleasure of hearing, the transcendental pleasure that emanates from Krishna's pastime. You drink that. But no, I prefer to hear some disco. I prefer to dance in the disco. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. So I prefer to go to the discotheque. I prefer to eat ice cream in the bogus parlor somewhere instead of eating Krishna Prasadam. I prefer to go out with my, mundane friends. And I prefer to go Boy Scout in the forest instead of coming to the river of Krishna's pastimes. I go and listen to mundane songs. I go and dance in the disco. I go and eat all kinds of nonsense. And then, for a little pleasure, I fall into the ditch of material consciousness. And then I suffer, being fully identified with my gross and subtle body. I suffer year after year, life after life. Then there is a prayer, O Lord of the calves, just as you bring back these foolish calves who are wandering for these useless puddles of water, puddles of sense gratification in the forest of material existence. Just as you take your stick and you bring back the calves to the herd and direct them to the great river where they can drink cool and refreshing water. Oh, similarly, Lord of the calves, please take your stick of mercy and bring back my mind in the Krishna Katha. Bring back my mind to Krishna Katha. Very beautiful. So we need to pray in this way. Because Prabhupada gave us Srimad Bhagavatam, but we prefer to read the newspaper, magazines, novels. No, we must read Srimad Bhagavatam and be happy with Srimad Bhagavatam. So, okay. I think it is time to stop. Should we stop? We have to. Where is the boss? Who is the organizer of this retreat? Come on. So tomorrow we will hear more how the two boys and their circle of friends encircled with all the cows make their way like two baby elephants back to the forest, back to the village. And how Balaram, very anxious to return, starts running ahead, leaving the party. Balaram runs ahead. And Krishna is very happy. Doesn't tell him, oh, brother, where are you going? No, he lets him go. Why does? Because on the way back to the village of Vraja, Krishna passes through the villages. And in all the villages, why are you laughing? There are young gopis who climb on the roofs of the houses and watch him as he passes. And as long as Balaram is there, he has to behave. He can't look at the girls, or if he looks, it's very succinct, But once Balaram is gone, then there is a festival. Raje Vijayanam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam. Vraje Vijayam Bhaje Vipina Deshata Keshavam. Jaya Radha Madhava Srimad Bhagavatam ki Srila Prabhupada ki